Quaterniff, what's up? This is from Menakem's My Grandmother's Hands, Mending the Police Heart and Body, if you hold a leadership role. If you're a leader in your department or unit, here are some things you can do to support the physical and mental health of your officers. Set up police officers running or walking, biking, or rollerblading club. Offer exercise classes every morning. Offer yoga sessions once or twice a week. Offer silent group meditation for 15 minutes every morning. All you need is an empty room and some chairs. Bring in a massage therapist to give officers free 20-minute chair massages. Offer classes in stress management and reduction. Get the precinct officer its own treadmill. Better yet, put in a mini gym with weights and mats. Ask a local fitness center to provide free or reduced price gym memberships for officers. Provide your officers with fitness trackers such as Fitbit to help them track their bodily rhythms and their fitness in general. The Fitbit breathing app is an especially valuable tool for helping bodies settle, stay anchored, and be present. If there's no money in your budget to buy Fitbits, talk to local merchants and or service clubs about donating the services or the devices or raising the money to buy them. Bring in an outside social worker for a few hours a week and allow your officers to sign up for the 30 or 60-minute appointments. 2 or 3 times a year, bring in healers, volunteer physicians, nurses, physician assistants, psychologists, and or social workers to help your officers create their own custom-designed self-care plans and growth routines. These should take into account the times before, during, and after shifts, downtimes within shifts, and off-duty hours. Hold monthly or bi-monthly or quarterly listening sessions facilitated by consultants, therapists, or social workers. In these, allow people to speak safely, anonymously, and off the record about their job-related concerns. You and other leaders should, of course, not attend these sessions. However, have people's anonymous comments brought to you and other leaders so you can better take the pulse of your department. Create a policy that automatically gives officers an hour or 2 of recovery time following any traumatic incident. For example, a death, a disaster, a serious injury, or confrontation at gunpoint. This will enable your officers to avoid responding to back-to-back high-stress calls, which can encourage a fight, flight, freeze, or annihilation response. If an officer shoots, kills, or injures someone, or if he or she becomes the subject of a serious complaint or investigation, don't leave the officer in the lurch to find emotional support on his or her own. Bring in a social worker or psychologist to help him or her move through his or her pain and confusion. This should not be handled through your office or internal affairs, which may reflexively put the protection of the department ahead of the mental health and welfare of your officer. Another is keep a close eye on each officer's morale and his or her physical, mental, and emotional health. When you see something of concern, speak with the officer about it in a curious rather than punitive way and work to address it. Depending on your organization, this might be an official early intervention program or it might be less formal and official. Some things to look for include excessive drinking, drug use, isolation, burnout, chronic anger, compassion, fatigue, depression, major weight gain or loss, physical health issues, or taking medical leave or a lot of sick time. Any of these can be an indicator of trauma or extreme stress. Do your best to catch and deal with problems early on. These efforts should not involve your Office of Internal Affairs for the reasons mentioned above. When one or more of your officers is involved in a high-profile event, for example, a deadly shootout, a major natural disaster, or a suicide bombing, or a hostage situation, the bodies of everyone in your department or unit will remember that event for years to come. As each anniversary of that event nears, people's bodies will automatically become constricted or activated. usually without anyone cognitively understanding why. Tempers will flare, people's trauma will be triggered, and your officers will be more likely to respond to stressful events with fight, flight, freeze, or annihilation reactions. To help settle your officers' bodies and avoid such potentially deadly situations, create a brief remembrance ceremony on or just before the anniversary of the original high-profile event. Announce the ceremony at least a month in advance. If the original event involved not only an officer but any community members, for example, in the case of a major fire, a hurricane or earthquake, a terrorist attack, etc., open the ceremony to the public. If the original event was particularly deadly, painful, or tragic, hold such a ceremony annually for 2 or 3 or even 5 years afterwards. Lobby the people you report to for money to spend on the wellness of your officers. If you can't get any public money, raise it privately. If you can get 10, 500 donations from service clubs, businesses, and well-to-do people in your community, you'll have $5,000 for a mini gym. In the process, you'll also improve relations between your officers and the community. Some closing thoughts Menakem says is, any of these changes and additions can help your officers feel better and do their jobs better. For your department, they can reduce turnover in the amount of medical leave and the number of medical retirements for your people take. For the community, they can help prevent the tragedy of any of your officers unnecessarily killing or injuring someone. While any of these individual changes can be of value, I urge you not to view them as mere add-ons. Think strategically rather than tactically. Carefully choose from these options to create an organized, coordinated structure that consistently supports the health, sanity, and resilience of your officers. Better still, develop an official organization or precinct-wide care strategy for your officers that begins with their training and continues until and perhaps well into their retirement. Please, if you haven't watched the videos before this, if you're interested, like, subscribe, and share. Work on diverse number of topics on this channel. And please see the links in the description for Resmaa's free 5-day course. A plus.